السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. I welcome you all to Medina Book 2. Inshallah, today we are doing class 54. So what we are going to learn today? So we are going to go a step back and take 2 steps ahead, inshallah. So what are we going to learn? We're going to learn about pronouns. Yes, we're going to learn about pronouns. So we're going to bring our own 14 pronouns, which is huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So these are the 14 pronouns, and we know there is a relationship between these pronouns and the verbs. So we are going to learn how to identify these pronouns and what is the significance in the verbs. So what we're going to do is understand the relationship between verbs and pronouns. So let's go to a normal 3-letter file and see how they're constructed, and then we move on to the weak verbs and try and analyze and understand how we have to construct them. So if you take a file, for example, ذهب, and we know how it is constructed in Madi. So what we're going to see here, ذهب, ذهب, ذهبوا, ذهبت, ذهبتا. So what do we see here? So in ذهب, so we know the fa'il, the pronouns, damir, they are always fa'ils, and the fa'il in ذهب and ذهبت can be mawjood or it can be mustatir. So here we will take it as a mustatir, which is you can't see the fa'il. However, in the other files, so it's like dhahaba, so what we see is alif musanna. So this alif musanna, it represents huma. It represents huma, the pronoun, the fa'il. And dhahabu, this wow represents hum, that is a pronoun. And again dhahabat, it's mustatir, so we don't change this ta tanisi, we don't say it's a fa'il. And again dhahabata, what we have is alif musanna. So in these 5 verbs, what do we see is that the fa'il, it has got a sukoon here. So if there is no vowel sign, that means there is a sukoon. There is sukoon on alif, there is sukoon on waw, and there is sukoon on alif musanna. So that's why these are called sakin pronouns. These are called sakin pronouns, where the pronoun, the original pronoun, is not pronounced. So what happens when hunna comes? So we know when hunna comes, so we've been telling that it asks the lam kalima to give sukoon, but why is that? So this noon of hunna, this is actually a part of the pronoun where the pronoun is verbally pronounced. So it is called mutaharrik pronoun. So whenever you get a mutaharrik pronoun, so what happens? The lam kalima of the fa'al, it gets a sukoon. So from hunna until nahnu, so what happens is that the lam kalima will get sukoon because it's a mutaharrik pronoun. So this is the most important thing we need to understand. So from what happens from then get all the files will get a sukoon on the lam kalima. Zahabta, zahabtuma, zahabtum, zahabti, zahabtuma, zahabtunna, zahabtu, zahabna. This ta, tuma, tumti, tuma, tunna, tuna. These are the mutaharrik pronouns where the pronouns is, though there is a vowel sign on the pronoun. So because of this mutaharrik pronouns, the lam kalima will get the sukoon. And these are called sakin pronouns. So what we are going to learn is the verbs with weak letters. So whenever the verbs with weak letter is constructed, then these things will play a role, which is sakin and mutaharrik pronouns. There are changes which take place. So just quickly revising again, what is this weakness? So we know there are 2 weak letters, waw and ya. So whenever they come in any of the 3 radicals, which is fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima, that is called mu'tal. That's a weakness. These are weak letters, so we call weakness. So if there is a weakness in the fa kalima, it's called al mu'tal al fa'a. and there's a weakness in the ayn kalima, it's called al mu'tal ayn, and if there's a weakness in the lam kalima, it will be mu'tal al lami. So we got names for these weaknesses. So if there is mu'tal al fa'a, so it's called al mithal, and depending which letter is present in that fa kalima, it is called al wawi or al ya'i, al mithal al wawi or al mithal al ya'i. And if it is in the ayn kalima, al mu'tal al ayn, it's called ajwaf, it's hollow, and again it could be al wawi or al ya'i depending which letter is hidden. And finally the lam kalima is mu'tal lami, is al naqis, it's called al naqis in the construction, and it could be al wawi again if it is waw, and al ya'i if it has ya. So inshallah today we're going to concentrate and learn about ajwaf, inshallah. So ajwaf, so we know it is al mu'tal al aini. So what do we have al mu'tal al aini? It is a weakness in the ayn kalima, so it could be waw or ya, and which could be hidden behind alif. So this is the ajwaf. So we're going to see how it is conjugated in complete forms. We're going to analyze and understand in detail, inshallah. So these are the examples: qala, ba'a, and nama. So we know qala. So how do we know what is, because we can see it's a weak letter in the ayn kalima, so it is ajwaf. So we don't know whether it is waw or ya, so we go to mudari'. So qala will be yaqulu, ba'a will be yabi'u. So we know this alif is containing waw in qala and ya in ba'a, yabi'u. And nama, so if we have a situation where we have nama, yanamu, so we still can't see the weak letter, then we know we go to the masdar. So now masdar here is naumun, so it is naumun, so it is wow. So the ajwaf, so the original was qawala for qala, baya'a for ba'a, and navima for nama. So these are the different verbs which they represent. So qawala was bab nasara yansuru, so this waw turned into alif. So baya'a was bab daraba yadribu, and navima was bab sami'a yasma'u. So we have only 3 babs in al-ajwaf. So we don't have all the 6 babs, is only 3 babs. Either it could be nasara yansuru, daraba yadribu, sami'a yasma'u. We will see in a minute why it is important to know these babs in the conjugation of the verbs. So if we move forward and start conjugating and each bab of fa'al and see how it affects the fa'al and how to understand it. So if it is qala, so we know these fa'al, we know they could be madi, mudari' and amr. So let's take a fa'al. Let's begin with the madi and do qala. So we'll do bab nasara yansuru, which is qala yaqulu. So qala, qala, qalu. So qalat, qalata. So until here it is normal conjugation, so we don't see any changes happening in the fa'al. Everything is normal. So qala is the fa'il mustatir taqdiru huwa, qala is fa'il is al-alifu li'annahu muthanna, and qalu is the fa'il is waw, and qalat is fa'il is mustatir, or it can be mawjood, and again qalata is alif muthanna is the fa'il. So what happens when hunna comes? We know when hunna comes, mutaharrik pronouns, we will say mutaharrik pronouns. So what will happen is it will get a sukoon on lam kalima. So when we get a sukoon on lam kalima, the alif also has sukoon. So there is iltiqa'i sakinaini. So whenever we have a situation when there is iltiqa'i sakinaini, the weak letter is dropped. So here the alif is a weak letter, and when the mutaharrik pronoun comes, it not only makes the weak letter dropped, but it also has effect on the fa kalima. So what happens here? So now we said qala, but when the mutaharrik pronouns, the hunna comes, the qaf will get a dhamma. Why will it get dhamma? Because bab nasara yansuru, the fa kalima will take dhamma. The fa kalima will take dhamma. Otherwise it will take kasra. So what happens here now? This will turn into qulna. That is get dropped, and the fa kalima will get assimilated into the lam kalima. So we get qulna, and from qulna everything is easy. So all the mutaharrik pronouns, they will have sukoon and lam kalima, and the ayn kalima is dropped. It's qulta, qultuma, qultum, qulti, qultuma, qultunna, qulti, anti qulti, ana qultu, qulna. So this is how it is conjugated. So when hunna comes, the fa kalima will get dhamma if it is bab nasara, and the weak letter is dropped. So if we go to again madi, if you go to bab daraba yadribu, so it will be ba'a, ba'a. So until huma, ba'u, ba'at, ba'ata. So again from here mutaharrik pronouns, what happens? These are sakin pronouns. Mutaharrik pronouns, the weak letter gets dropped in the fa kalima. Here the mutaharrik pronoun, when it comes, because if it is bab daraba, the fa kalima will get kasra. This is what we need to remember. So it becomes bi'ana. So it's not bu'ana, it's only bab nasra, it will get dhamma. If it is bab daraba or bab sami'a, it will get kasra. So it becomes bi'ana. Then again from here we know all the mutaharrik pronouns will give sukoon to lam kalima, and fa kalima will get kasra. So bi'ta, bi'tuma, bi'tum, bi'ti, bi'tuma, bi'tunna, bi'tu, bi'na. So that's the bab daraba yadribu. So if you go to bab sami'a yasma'u, it's nama, nama, namu, namat, namata. So again here what we have is nimna. So we know why it is nimna, because it is bab sami'a. So the fa kalima will get kasra and the weak letter is dropped. So it will be nimta, nimtuma, nimtum, nimti, nimtuma, nimtunna, nimtu, I slept, nimna, we slept. So that's the madi. So if we go to mudara, so we know mudara. So madi is mabni. So it doesn't change no matter what letter, what word comes in front of it. But mudara, it keeps changing its moods. So it's got mu'rab. So it can be marfu, mansub, and majzum. So we will see how this weak verbs al-ajwaf behave when it is marfu. You will see how it behaves when it is mansub, and we will see how it behaves when it is majzum, inshallah. So mudara, qala, yaqulu. So yaqulu, dhamma represents that it is marfu. Yaqulani, the noon tells us the fa'al is marfu. يقولون, تقول, تقولان. So at hunna, again here what happens, because in mudara there are only two places where the mutaharrik pronouns comes, and rest the 12, so there are the pronoun is, it has sakin pronouns or mustatir. So the mutaharrik pronouns in mudara is only in hunna and antunna. So when this mutaharrik pronouns gets attached, so we know the lam kalima will get sukoon. So when we get sukoon here, so again there is a iltiqai sakinaini. So what happens? Again the weak letter is dropped, so yaqulna will become yaqulna. Then again taqulu, taqulani, taquluna, taqulina, taqulani, antunna. Again what happens? Iltiqai sakinaini changes into taqulna. The weak letter is dropped. Aqulu, ana aqulu, nahnu naqulu. So this is a mudari' for qala yaqulu. So this is how it is conjugated. So if we go to mansoob form, so let's see how it is conjugated in mansoob form. So we know the mansoob is determined by the fatha. Yaqulu will become yaqula, and musanna yaqulani will become yaqula, because the noon is dropped, so it will be hadafi noon. So fa'ilun mansubun bi hadafi noon. So again yaquluna, so will become yaqulu bi hadafi noon. So when noon is dropped, we know it is mansub. So taqulu will become taqula, taqulani will become taqula, taquluna. So again here, so we know yaqulna is mabni. So we know this noon will not change because this is a mutaharrik pronoun, and whenever this mutaharrik pronoun becomes mabni, it doesn't change. So it will remain yaqulna, kunna and antunna. Anta taqula, antuma taqula, antum taqulu, anti taquli bihadfi noon here mansub, and antuma taqula, antunna taqulna, ana aqula, nahnu naqula. So this is the mudari' of ajwaf in mansoob form. So let's go to majzoom, see what happens in majzoom. So there are subtle changes which takes place. So mudari' majzoom, so we say, so we know the 5 in your pocket, what we call is where the majzoom is represented by sukoon. So again here, if you see what is happening, when you get sukoon on the lam kalima, make it majzoom, there's iltiqai sakinaini. So we know whenever this iltiqai sakinaini, the weak letter is dropped and it turns into yaqul. So it turns into yaqul. So alam yaqul. So if there is any word harf jazm comes like in lam lamma wal falli, then this is how the fa'al will look in the ajwaf. So but if you see yaqula, so it will remain same because there is no iltiqai sakinaini, so only the noon is dropped, so bi hadafi noon, majzumun bi hadafi noon. So yaqulu, again majzumun bi hadafi noon, taqul, taqula, yaqulna will remain mabni, taqul, taqula, taqulu, taquli, taqula, and taqulna. Ana aqul, nahnu naqul. So this is the mudari' in majzoom, how it is constructed for the weak letter ajwaf. So let's go and see how the amr is made and how this ajwaf will behave when we are going to make an amr. So we know the amr is given, the command is given in the 6 situations, and the person in front of us, it is anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, the 6. So we take mudari', the taqulu, anta taqulu. So what do? So we don't need the alamat mudari', we take it away and we change the lam kalima into majzoom, the sukoon, and again there is iltiqai sakinaini, so the weak letter is dropped and the fa kalima will join to lam kalima, it becomes qul. So taqulani, So again, the alamat al-mudari is taken away, the noon is dropped, so we have qula. So here if you see, the waw is retained, whereas in the anta, the waw is dropped because of iltiqai sakinaini. So qul and qula. So this is important to remember. So taquluna will be take away the mudari, alamat al-mudari, and drop the noon. So we get qulu is amal. You all say taqulina. Again, take the alamat al-mudari, drop the noon, and it will be quli. So this is how it is written, quli. So taqulani, take the mudari away, drop the noon, it will be qula. You both female, you say taqulna. So we know this is mabni, so we don't drop the noon. This is the mutaharrik pronoun. So the other noons, they were the alamat al-mudari, but this noon is a mutaharrik pronoun, so we don't drop this. So it will be qulna. So we have to be careful between this qulna and this qulna, because the whole meaning changes. So this is we said, and this is the command for all the women, qulna. So this is how it is very important to pronounce each and every single thing in the Arabic to give a proper meaning. Otherwise we will be reading something and we will be meaning something. So if you go to Nasarayan, so we just bring some examples of Ajwaf, so we know, get the picture of how all these things will come together. So Bab Nasara can bring some examples like Kana, Yakunu, Kun. All the conjugations, what we have done in Madi, Mudari', Mudari' Marfu, Mudari' Mansub, Mudari' Majzum, and Amr, and everything is same for all the Ajwaf. But what we need to remember is which Bab they belong to. Once we know it, we will remember it, inshallah. So Kana, Yakunu will be Kun, Amr. Zara, he visited. Yazuru, Zur, visit. Qama, he stood. Yaqumu, he stands. Qum, stand. Taba means he repented. Yatubu and tub. Zaqa, he tasted. Yazuqu, he tastes. And zuq means taste. Tawafa, he did tawaf. Yatufu, he's doing tawaf. And tuf. So we should be able to conjugate everything in all the forms, inshallah. So al-ajwaf for daraba yadribu. So some examples: Ja'a, yaji'u. So if you see here yaji'u, because we are pronouncing all the letters, so the hamza is written outside ya because the ya is being pronounced. So this alif is originally ya, so it is yaji'u. And ja. So because now here, how do we make majzoom is that the weak letter is dropped, so that this hamza comes on the kursi of ya. That's why it's ja. So that's for ja'a yaji'u, ja. Ba'a yabi'u, bi'a. He sold, he's selling, he sell. Sara yasiru, sit. He walked, he walks, and walk. Aasha ya'ishu, ish. He lived, he lives, and live. So this is Bab Daraba Yadribu. It will be originally it will be Baya'a or Jaya'a. So but because of the weak letter, it is changed into Mad. So if you take Bab Sami'a Yasma'u, Sami'a Yasma'u. So we have Nama Yanamu, Nam. So here we need to see that it's not Nim because it is Bab Sami'a. So when we have Bab Sami'a, the Amr will be having Fatha. If it is Bab Daraba, which is Yadribu, then the Amr will have Kasra. So this is why it is important to know the Bab and remember it. So we give a proper command. So Nama Yanamu will be Nam because it is Yanamu. If it is Yanimu, then it will be Nim, but it is not. So it is Yanamu, Nam. Khafa yakhafu, khaf. La takhaf. Don't be scared. Khafa, he was scared. He's and kada, yakadu means we know kada means it almost or he almost, and kad. And zala, yazalu means cease to exist, is ceasing to exist, and cease to exist is amar. Zala, yazalu, zal. So these are all examples of different verbs of ajwaf. So inshallah, in our next class, we're going to do a lesson number 27, and we're going to see how all these files are used. Until then, assalamu alaikum